another tea today, and in case you don't know, I've been fighting off sickness this whole week, making these videos because I am working on making these things to help me and my family. Actually, my kids have a cough, and I have had basically, it was a cough that kind of settled down in my chest and was a lot of chest congestion. And I was like, oh my goodness, am I getting pneumonia? Because I've had pneumonia once before, and it was getting to that feeling. And so I was a little worried, and I am just really thankful to have all these things on hand that I didn't have before. So I actually brought out the olive leaf tincture last night because I was scared to death that I might develop into pneumonia. It wasn't like quite that far progressed, but it was getting close. I could tell. So I feel a lot better today, but it's moved up into my throat. So I've got this like tickle in my throat, and it's really annoying, but it's out of my chest. So I'm really thankful for that. And who knows, tomorrow I might have like head congestion. But that's kind of the way colds work. Like they move up and out of your body. And that's the way they're supposed to work. When you're fighting them naturally, you're going to find your symptoms kind of progressing and changing and easing in one area and maybe getting worse in another. But in general, you're going to be getting better, but it takes longer than it might take with pharmaceuticals. But you're being gentler on your body, and you're building your whole immune system and building your gut and everything while you're doing it, instead of like destroying your whole gut and microbiome while you're, getting rid of a head cold or something. So anyway, that's why I love herbs. That's why I'm making another tea. This one is an immune boosting blend. So for the base, I started with red raspberry leaf, which I've got my little notes here. Actually, you can kind of see. This is my little recipe I jotted down. You can see the things I have in it, and I wrote it kind of why I added them. Now, the red raspberry leaf is very nutrient dense. It's also toning, so that's really kind of nice, for sore throats. It's great. Like when I was pregnant, I would drink red raspberry leaf tea for most of my pregnancies because it's supposed to be very good for toning your uterus and just keeping your tissues toned and healthy. But it's also a really good base herb for a recipe, for like an herbal tea recipe, because it doesn't have a strong flavor. It's just kind of like a leafy, earthy flavor. But it's not strong one way or another. It's not going to clash with anything. Next, I added some alfalfa, which is also extremely nutrient rich. It actually helps asthma and arthritis, because I looked these up just to make sure everything's totally safe and all that. Refresh my memory on it. But yeah, I was like, oh, cool. That's a extra helpful thing. Now, alfalfa has a little bit more of a green flavor than red raspberry leaf. Oops, there goes my dishwasher. But it's really, they just complement each other. So they're the base of this. And then some lemon balm. Lemon balm adds that great lemony flavor. It's also an adaptogenic herb, which helps you adapt to different situations, say if you're sick, or if you're moving, or if your kids are changing schools, or if you're starting the school year, or just all of that. It just helps your body to adapt to different circumstances. It's also very calming, which is great because it helps you just relax, get to sleep on time, stuff like that. So then I added some olive leaf, which we've talked about the benefits of olive leaf. It's antiviral, antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal. It just goes on and on. It's anti-inflammatory. It's just amazing. I just added a little bit of that though because it's also very bitter. So it's just a little bit of that. It'll go a long way. Then I added rose hips and rose petals, which, they're beautiful. I just love having that pretty pink in there. So that would be enough to add it. Plus they taste good. But beyond that, rose hips are just chock full of vitamin C. And then rose hips and rose petals are astringent. So they're great for a dry cough and a sore throat. They're going to really help heal that out. So that's why I added those. I added some echinacea and echinacea, we all know it's an immune stimulating herb. It's also anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and it helps your respiratory system and digestive system. So it's just amazing. So of course we had to add some echinacea. And I just added the herb. I didn't add the root this time just because roots are better to be like boiled in a tea, and like if you're just steeping a tea in your little tea strainer in a cup, you don't get quite the same benefits from roots as if you actually boil them in the pot. So I didn't want to waste my echinacea root on that, but I'll make maybe a more root type of tea. Though I did add some other roots. So anyway, but you could also just throw all of this in a pot and simmer it for a little bit and get all of the root benefits, and then just strain it out. So that's another option when you're making teas, if you've got roots mixed in with other herbs, or just a really root heavy tea, like say with ginger root and echinacea root and stuff like that. Then simmer those herbs a little bit, or those roots, and then strain them, and you're going to get more benefit from the roots. Okay, so I did add some ginger root, which I was mentioning, and that stimulates circulation and digestion, and it's a warming herb, so that's really nice, if you have a cold. 1 part passion flower, all the parts. I talked about those in my other tea video. Basically, I use a measuring cup as a part, and so if it's a half part, it's a half a cup. It's really pretty simple, but that way you can make it large batch, small batch, whatever you want to do. So passion flower and leaves are they're anti-anxiety and very calming, and they'll help you sleep better if you have insomnia. Passion flower is amazing. So I just wanted to add that because sometimes, at least for me, when I'm sick, what I really need to do is rest. But instead, I stay up late making videos about mixing herbal teas. So anyway, I've got some passion flower in there to hopefully help me just cut it off and go to sleep. And then astragalus root, which is this kind of white stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen astragalus root before, but I kind of discovered it last year. It's amazing. It's got so many awesome properties, but mostly it's antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, it's an adaptogenic herb, and it's an immune stimulant. So all those great things. It's also, the Chinese have used it for all kinds of things, including fighting cancer. And so I'm like, hey, let me just add it to everything. So astragalus root is in there. And I am going to enjoy this tea immensely. And I hope you guys enjoy all of your tea making adventures if you decide to have them. And I hope this helps somebody. So any of these herbs by themselves are going to be beneficial if you're fighting sickness. As you can see, all of them have great properties. When they're mixed together, it's like times 100 because they actually work with one another to boost, the nutrient-rich plants are going to boost the power of the anti-inflammatory plants, because you're not only cutting inflammation in your body, but you're also feeding it the nutrients it needs. So they all work together, and it's so beautiful how God created all these things around us and just gave us all of this for our healing, for our nourishment. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, I'll talk to you again another day.